Hello, welcome to the Infrascience Application Infrastructure Capabilities series. My name is Jessica Wheelock, and today I'm going to show you how to create a custom content type in SharePoint Online and then add an information management policy to that content type. So from the top level site, I'm going to select my little gear and come all the way down to Site Settings. Under Web Designer Galleries, I'm going to select Site Content Types. From here, I'm going to create a new content type, and this one is going to be called Non-Disclosure Agreements. I'm going to make it part of our document content types, with document being the parent. And then hit OK. Here's the settings page for our content type that we just created. I want to add a couple of columns to contain some required data for these content types. So for non-disclosure agreements, we're going to say we want to know the date signed. We also want to know who signed it, or signed by, and we'll let that suffice for now. So the first thing I want to check is to see if these columns already exist. So I hit Add from Site Columns, and now I'm going to look for date signed, and there we go. Oops. So I'm going to select that, hit Add, and I also want to see if there's a column that exists called Signed By, and it does. Perfect. I'm going to hit OK, and now those two columns are part of this content type. From here, I want to make date signed a required piece of information. So I'm going to click on it, and then under column settings, select required, and then OK. I'm going to do the same for signed by. Okay, great. From here, I want to go ahead and add a retention period, and to do that, I use our information management policy settings, which is the last link here under settings. So according to our company retention policy, we're supposed to retain non-disclosure agreements for 2 years after the date signed. So in this policy statement box, I'm going to go ahead and put retain for date signed plus 2 years. And then right here, I'm going to select Enable Retention. And now I need to add a retention stage. Specify what causes the stage to activate. So the policy says date signed plus 2 years. By default, it's going to put created here. If I select my down arrow, I should see my other columns that I added to the content type. I'm going to select date signed plus 2 years, and then I need to tell it what I want it to do with the record at that point. Notice I have several options. For today's purposes, we're going to tell it to permanently delete. And then come down and hit OK. Since it is a corporate record, I'm interested in auditing. So if I select Enable Auditing, I get some options. I want to know when each of these events occurs in relation to any document that's classified as a non-disclosure agreement. So I'm going to go ahead and check all of those. This will allow me to run some auditing reports. This is especially helpful for records managers. From here, I'm going to select OK, and now our content type is ready to go. I'm going to go back up to my little gear and come down to Site Contents. From here, I'm going to create a new document library to house these documents. And we're going to call this library Non-Disclosure Agreements. And then hit Create. I'm going to go ahead and select that document library. Notice there's nothing in it because it's brand new. And up here in the ribbon, I'm going to select Library. Come all the way to the right to Library Settings. And the first thing I need to do is click on Advanced Settings and tell it to, yes, allow management of content types. So I select yes, come all the way down to the bottom and hit OK. Notice this little content type section now appears. By default, it assumes that I want the system content type of document to be what we're using. That's not the case, so I'm going to add from existing site content types, sort by custom content types, because it's a custom content type, and then select our non-disclosure agreement. Hit OK. I don't want any other type of document to be in this library, so I'm going to remove that document content type just by selecting it and then hitting delete this content type. Okay, so now I have the non-disclosure agreement content type associated with the non-disclosure agreements document library. Now let's add a document just to see what it'll look like from the end user perspective. Let's upload a test document to the library. All right, and here you'll see the columns that we associated with our content type are asking for information. So for date signed, let's give it a fake date of February the 3rd, and we'll say it was signed by Kelly Crossley. And from here, I'm going to check in the document, and now it's in the library and is being managed by our retention policy. Thank you for joining us today. In some of our next videos, we'll expand upon this and show you how to actually add a workflow to a retention period. And look forward to seeing you next time.